George Peppard really hated him more than anyone else. George Peppard was born on October 1 Street, 1928, in Detroit, Michigan. Peppard grew up in a working-class family where he learned the value of hard work, strength, and independence. His father, George Peppard Seoster, was a building contractor, and his mother, Vernal Rohrer, had been an opera singer, which gave young George's first taste of the performing arts. From a young age, George showed both a sharp mind and a creative spark. He returned to Purdue University and the Carnegie Institute of Technology, now called Carnegie Mellon University, where he studied drama and began developing the skills that would lead him to success in show business. Peppard's early career began on stage, where his strong training and natural charm quickly caught the eye of critics and audiences. His big break came in the late 1950s when he moved into movies, bringing a new energy that made him stand out among other leading men of his time. One of his first praised roles was in Home from the Hill 1960, where he impressed Hollywood with his emotion and depth. Over the next few years, Peppard built a name for himself as a skilled actor who could play anything from romantic heroes to tough, serious characters. His role with Audrey Hepburn in the classic Breakfast at Tiffany's 1961 made him a Hollywood star. His performance as struggling writer Paul Varjak became one of his most famous. As his career grew through the 1960s, Peppard acted in many different kinds of movies, including war films like The Blue Max 1966, where he played a bold German pilot in World War I. This role showed how he could bring real feeling to actors who might otherwise seem unlikable. Peppard also appeared in thrillers, romantic dramas, and westerns, showing a strong ability to fit into any kind of movie. His good looks, confident attitude, and focused acting made him a leading man who could carry a film with both charm and believability. Even though he had reached success in movies, the 1970s became a tougher time for his career. The roles became fewer, and Hollywood was changing as new actors and directors took over. Still, Peppard didn't give up. He started taking roles on TV and kept working hard. His most famous role during this time came in the 1980s when he played Colonel John Hannibal Smith, the cigar-smoking, disguise-wearing leader of a group of soldiers for hire in the hit TV series The A-Team 1983-1987. This show made him popular again, especially with younger fans, and turned him into a true TV legend. His famous line, "I love it when a plan comes together," became one of the most well-known quotes on television. George Peppard's personal life was just as dramatic as the roles he played on screen. During his life, he got married 5 times, and each marriage was its own chapter in his story as both a man and an actor. His first marriage was to Helen Davies, whom he married in 1954 during the early days of his acting career when he was still trying to make it in Hollywood. The couple spent 10 years together, going through both the hard times and the happy moments that came with George's growing fame. But even with their bond, they divorced in 1964, right before Peppard became a big star with Breakfast at Tiffany's and other successes. Not long after, Peppard married actress Elizabeth Ashley in 1966. Ashley was a well-known stage and movie actress, and their marriage got a lot of attention from the media since both were famous in the entertainment world, but their relationship was rocky. Driven by Peppard's strong personality and Ashley's equally fiery nature, they had one son, Christian Peppard, who later became an actor and writer like his did. Even though they cared deeply for each other, the couple divorced in 1972 after 6 years together. Their son remained close to both of them and was a big part of their lives. In 1975, Peppard got married for the 3rd time to Sherry Busha, an actress who appeared in movies like Walking Tall. At that time, Peppard was still a big name in Hollywood, though his career was slowly changing as he began to play older, more serious roles instead of young leading men. Their marriage lasted 4 years, and by 1979, they separated. Another story of both passion and pain in Peppard's personal life. His 4th marriage was to actress Alexis Adams in 1984. It was short but memorable. The marriage ended in 1986 after only 2 years. Just like his earlier marriages, this one showed how hard it was for Peppard to keep relationships strong. His struggles with fame, his stubborn nature, and his well-known battle with alcoholism made his personal life even harder. But he did beat his drinking problem later in life, even though his marriages brought both love and heartbreak. Peppard's biggest joy was being a father. He had 3 children, Bradford and Julie from his first marriage to Helen Davies, and his son Christian from his marriage to Elizabeth Ashley. Despite all the ups and downs in his relationships, Peppard always stayed close to his kids, who were the center of his world. In his latter years, he often said that being a father was one of his proudest achievements, giving him a sense of purpose that love affairs never could. When talking about George Peppard and how people saw him in Hollywood, one of the most famous stories is his strong dislike for actor Buddy Ebsen. While Peppard was known for being honest and sometimes tough to work with, he usually kept his opinions about other actors private. But with Buddy Ebsen, it was different. Peppard made it very clear that he couldn't stand him. In interviews, Peppard said bluntly, "I never liked that man. Not one bit. Buddy Ebsen was the one person I truly hated more than anyone I ever worked with." The reason for this hate went back to their time in show business during the height of their TV careers. Buddy Ebsen was loved by many for his role as Jed Clampett on the Beverly Hillbillies, a show that ran through the 1960s and made him a household name. George Peppard, on the other hand, became famous for serious acting roles. Known for his good looks and dramatic performances in movies like Breakfast at Tiffany's 1961, and later as Colonel John Hannibal Smith on the hit 1982nd series The A-Team. Their careers overlapped during a time when TV's booming, but Peppard didn't respect the kind of light, funny acting that Ebsen represented. That difference in style was one of the first things that caused tension between them. Peppard once said, "I couldn't stand his style, that fake hillbilly act he did. To me, that wasn't acting. It was just trying to please people." Another reason they clashed came down to their personalities. George Peppard was proud, sometimes arrogant, and very serious about his work. He often argued with directors, producers, and co-stars if he thought the work wasn't good enough or they weren't professional. Buddy Ebsen, on the other hand, seemed calm but was also strong-willed and could look down on others he didn't respect. When these two types of people met in Hollywood circles or at events, it was bound to end badly. Peppard later said, "Buddy acted like he was the wise old man of Hollywood, always telling people how things used to be. He didn't need his advice. I thought he was full of himself and really annoying." Behind the scenes, their rivalry grew because of gossip and Hollywood politics. Some said Peppard had been up for roles that Ebsen also wanted, but Ebsen ended up getting them instead. Even if those rumors weren't all true, Peppard believed them. In one angry moment, he said, "Hollywood is a cutthroat place, and guys like Ebsen act like your friend while stabbing you in the back. I never trusted him." Peppard's anger ran deep, and he focused a lot of it on Ebsen. It wasn't just about work, it was personal. Peppard was seen as classy and sophisticated, often around rich and famous people, and he had a reputation as a ladies' man. Ebsen, on the other hand, had a down-to-earth image that audiences loved, but Peppard thought it was fake. In one harsh comment, Peppard said, "What people saw on TV with Buddy wasn't who he really was. Off camera, he wasn't Jed Clampett. He was cold and calculating, trying to act like some wise elder. That fake attitude made him sick." What made Peppard's hatred of Ebsen stand out was how strong it was compared to his feelings about others. Peppard often argued with directors, producers, and co-stars, even Mr. T on the A-Team, but he still respected their talent. With Buddy Ebsen, he had no respect at all. "I could respect a man I fought with on set because at least it was honest," Peppard said. "But Buddy, never. I hated him more than anyone because everything about him felt fake." Even though this feud was one-sided, since Buddy Ebsen rarely said anything bad about Peppard, the hostility was real. Ebsen usually stayed quiet and let his long career speak for itself. But for George Peppard, the anger never went away. His comments about Ebsen show just how serious he was about honesty and respect. To Peppard, Ebsen failed that completely, and that made him the man George Peppard admitted hating most. On May 8, 1994, George Peppard, the American actor best known for playing Colonel John Hannibal Smith in The A-Team, passed away in Los Angeles at age 65. His death came after a long fight with health problems, especially lung cancer, which had weakened him in his later years. Peppard had been a heavy smoker for most of his life, and that hurt his lungs badly. Even though got treatment for cancer, his body was too weak to fight off pneumonia, the illness that finally took his life. Pneumonia is sometimes called the old man's friend because it often affects people who are already sick or weak. For Peppard, whose body was already tired from battling cancer, it was the last fight he couldn't win. When he passed, he was in Los Angeles, the city that had been both his home and his stage for his center career. His death deeply saddened his friends, family, and fans, who remembered him not only as a handsome, talented actor but also as a strong and complex man who never gave up. His passing came at a sad time. He had been trying hard to bring back his career in the early 1990 seconds. After the team ended in 1987, Peppard faced challenges with being typecast and dealing with his past struggles, including alcoholism. Viewed in his last years, he found new focus and stayed sober. When he died at 65, many wondered what more he could have accomplished if he'd lived longer. Peppard's death reminded people of how dangerous smoking-related diseases could be, especially among Hollywood stars of his time. Fans mourned the loss of a man who brought so many great characters to life on both TV and film, a true symbol of a golden era in Hollywood. News of his death spread quickly, and obituary honored his career. From his classic role with Audrey Hepburn in Breakfast at Tiffany's 1961 to his unforgettable role in The A-Team, even after death, George Peppard remained a fascinating figure, a man of talent, struggle, and pride. Though cancer and pneumonia ended his life, his legacy lived on through his work, his charm, and the unforgettable characters he left behind.